I will tell you that I had one of our captains assigned to listening to all the phone calls this morning, and of the 149 calls that we know of so far that have come in, they're about 50-50 split between individuals in our community who are happy to give us their name and tell us that they're proud of the work that we did, and they're happy to be a part of this community, and the other 50% who are completely anonymous and who want nothing more than to scream and yell at us and use some really choice words, offer death threats against myself and other members of the police department merely for doing our jobs. Those people obviously remain anonymous and don't tell us where they're from, although we had a call as far away as Norway. I think it's my impression so far that the majority of the supportive things that we're receiving are coming from members of our community, which, as Mayor Hammond just spoke about, is a fantastic place. And then we obviously have the hate groups from outside that are giving us their opinion as well.
Those hate groups shooting in death threats to the police that disrupted the Patriot Front in Ohio, looking to disrupt and cause a riot nearby at a nearby Pride event over the weekend. So the police chief there, Lee White, was speaking to reporters about this entire situation and how because of this arrest of a terror group, they're getting 50-50. 50% of their calls are nice, the other 50% talking about killing them over this. Again, I want to play this again because we played it yesterday when we originally did the video, but maybe they're watching a little bit of Fox News because this is what they said about it as well. Watch.
One man's hat said victory or death. Another's shirt read Reclaim America. Many of the men reportedly wore patches identifying them with the Patriot Front group. The Daily Mail also reporting police recovered at least one smoke grenade and an operations plan for the event inside that truck.
Okay, thank you, Ashley. I just want to know how many BLM riots were prevented because we got in on the inside before they rioted, burned down cities.
Very interesting.
Never ahead of that curve.
Never.
They should look into see if Pete Hegseth was one of the people who called in those death threats, because apparently he's very upset about this entire situation. More details, because officers have also received threats of doxing. We know that is a practice in which someone publishes personal information, his phone numbers, addresses online. The majority of the threats being made appear to be from outside the Coeur d'Alene community. It's according to the chief. A 911 caller reported seeing a little army of people in masks and with shields in a U-Haul truck on Saturday, and responding officers stopped it, pulled them all out. We saw that happen. The 911 caller, by the way, will not be identified. The police chief said, since myself and other members of my agency have been receiving threats, including death threats, I think it's appropriate to withhold that person's information. So someone who called in a terror threat and it was legitimate, got it broken up, has to go into hiding in a way because they might get killed. Because we push and support terrorism, a certain kind of terrorism in America. This is the best part, Francesca. I can't wait for you to respond to this. Because one of the members has a mom who decided to go public. She's tired of this. Oh, this is great. Karen Amston, the mom of alleged Patriot Front member and Springville, Utah resident Jared Michael Boyce, said on Monday that her son has struggled to fill a void in his life ever since his father left the family years ago and came out as gay. A licensed clinical social worker, Amston, said that she's going public in an attempt to sabotage his standing in the group because her other attempts at convincing him to walk away from the far right have so far failed. She says, I would love to do whatever I can to out him as a Patriot Front member so that he can't be a part of it. And that they don't want him to be a part of their group because his mom has loose lips and a big mouth and he's never going to get away with anything. Amsden said that after her son was released from jail, he told her he'd continue to stand with the group, so she delivered an ultimatum. This is great. I told him, well, then you can't live here. You can choose between Patriot Front and your family. And he's like, well, I can't quit Patriot Front. And I'm like, well, then you've just chosen. So pack up your stuff and get out of my house. This guy's 27 years old, by the way, you guys. Amsden had warned her son after previous Patriot Front trips that he'd get into trouble if he continued associating with the group. He's so misguided and bought into all their rhetoric. It just makes me sick. And she added that she hopes that his arrest is a wake-up call for him to quit. This is not who I raised. This is not the example that I was setting for him. Amsden said that since his teenage years, her son was, quote, looking for some kind of connection and brotherhood. Jesus. How much they talk about betas and people in their basements and tweeting things out and doing podcasts. But this apparently badass Patriot Front group has a guy who's 27 years old, has an ex-wife and kids, and is living at home and just got kicked out because he can't quit the group.
Dude, just get into frisbee golf, man. White men have been doing this for many, many decades, and they're not killing or harming or anybody. Just get into something. Like it's so sad to me and scary to me that so much of American political culture right now and the culture of extremism is us living in fear of an aimless, sad white dude without a purpose, who's like just one, snap away from killing a gay person, right? Like this is, and we have to, we can't ignore them. We have to sort of like handhold them, and like everything's okay. You can do other things, except whatever. Go around in your little like white supremacist geek squad outfit over there, and like I love this mom. Look. It's similar to enabling like a drug addict. Like, look, if you're gonna do drugs in this house, like I can't support that. Like I can't actually, this can't be your safe haven to be involved in that stuff. You're gonna have to go. So I think it's good that she did this. It's good that she's outing him. I'm a little bit concerned for her safety given all this. I just want to note, I hadn't seen the Brian Kilmeade piece.
Yeah.
I don't recognize this country, man. Like that right there that's just fascism.